Yeah, you can see the crowd, how delighted they are. Welcome in, get their picture of him.
All the best.
Certainly the last few seasons, really enjoying his time in China. Treated very well, like all the players are. Ronnie just doing a little bit of housekeeping there. Get everything organised the way he wants it.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. The first frame, Ronnie O'Sullivan to break.
Joining me for today's intriguing clash is Stephen Hallworth.
Well, really looking forward to this one. What a momentous occasion this is for Bulcsu Revesz. First time pro, first season on the professional circuit, and what a way to start. Playing the game's great in one of the biggest arenas the World Snooker Tour will be at this season. Huge complex. This, the Xi'an Esports Centre here in Xi'an. These are what dreams are made of. Any snooker player from any walk of life practices all the hours with ambitions of becoming a professional snooker player, but then to be able to achieve that dream and take on the best player we've ever seen, well, I'm excited for him.
It's actually a nice little touch by Ronnie there. It was a good safety shot, but it seemed to get warm appreciation from Ronnie. Probably aware himself of the magnitude of this occasion for his young opponent.
请把手机调成静音，谢谢。
Straight away, he's got a testing pot. I think he's come around to maybe play this red as a shot to nothing. Very good pot. A little bit unfortunate not to get a nicer kiss on the green, but he'll be feeling a lot better.
Bulcsu Revesz 1.
Bulcsu Revesz, one of many European players that have come through this season to gain their professional status for the first time. Anton Kowalski from Poland and Artemis Zizins from Latvia, also becoming members of the World Snooker Tour. Only 17 years of age, Bulcsu. What priceless experience these minimum 2 years on the professional circuit will be for him.
Had a bit of a baptism on fire last season, playing the shootout. Was commentating, played one shot and had to watch Sean Murphy make that fantastic 147. 147 is a great achievement at any time, but in the shootout was remarkable. Looked like it would have been a great pub quiz question. Who was the player Sean Murphy had the maximum against? But it's great to see him now. And who knows what this young man will go on to achieve. Obviously highly unlikely that he's going to win today, but you do hope he does himself justice. Really enjoys the occasion. Maybe a much better player for having this experience. Should be able to come off a couple of cushions, still lie into the pack, not leave a red. Again, this little passage of play at the start of the match, not a bad thing for him. Giving him plenty of table time just to settle. Try and get rid of the nerves.
Foul and a miss. Ronnie O'Sullivan, 7.
Trying to play that red that was close to that right corner. Wasn't able to navigate the path. Caught the black.
One. Ronnie O'Sullivan, 1.
I think he won't mind this little exchange to begin with. Just get a few shots on the table, try and settle himself down as quickly as possible. Doesn't want to gift any easy opportunities to Ronnie. That'll help.
1.
Played an attacking safety shot there, bringing more reds into play by catching the red thicker. You didn't see that one, though.
Five. Six.
That fluke has given them this opportunity. Again, certainly to continue the settling down process.
Just giving Ronnie a taste of his own medicine there, switching left-handed.
13.
We saw yesterday, and I think you mentioned, Fergal, that Ronnie's made a point. He's going to play more shots this season left-handed. Bulcsu
14.
clearly another player who doesn't mind switching.
Yeah, I would say most young players who have aspirations of being professional, even in their teens, are well able to make, if not centuries, 50-plus breaks.
Bulcsu Revesz,
But you cannot
14.
afford to miss a black off the spot at any level. And you can see he's absolutely distraught with himself. Hand on the table from right behind it. That is a cardinal sin. Hit it so bad he didn't even land on a red as well.
Yeah, and after making such a good little start, that'll just stop him in his tracks a little piece.
He's a bit of a character, this lad. I spent a little bit of time with him competing on the Q Tour last season. I was there in Albania when he lifted the WSF Junior Championship earlier on in the year to eventually turn pro. Get the impression he's quite a confident boy. Certainly backs himself.
Yeah, even going around the table there, he's a little bit of swagger about him.
You didn't see that shot, did you, Fergal?
Yeah, it's a little beauty there, all right. Certainly, Ronnie's given him his full attention, full respect.
One.
Again, if he likes to play this black and screw back, this will be a good test of his cueing. Just having a little look, if you can find that little gap,
8.
even to trace a little right-hand side. Yeah,
9.
maybe a little bit fortunate to find that gap, but probably well deserved. It was a great pot on the black. And again, for the second time in this frame, he's in amongst them.
16. Bulcsu Revesz, 16.
Yeah. Hard to explain a miss like that.
Well, the black was bad, wasn't it? But that red, possibly even worse. That not the type of shot to do your confidence any good whatsoever, especially against this man. You may not be punished for that type of mistake on the amateur circuit, but at this level,
6.
you cannot afford to miss those type of shots. Although so far he's not getting punished.
Didn't get punished for that mistake, but those two mistakes still
Ronnie
would damage his
7-6.
confidence. So
Bulcsu
when he
Revesz,
does get his next
4.
chance, probably not as settled. But he couldn't have wished for
1.
alone one chance, 3 chances of this caliber in the first frame. Again, let's hope we can just continue the settling down process and do enough just to get this frame on the board. Be a brilliant start for him.
8.
And he'd soon forget those couple of mistakes if he can win it.
I think this frame
9.
is massive, or whichever frame it is to be, that Bulcsu can get on the board as quickly as possible. You alluded to that little bit of swagger he has around the table, and you're absolutely right. There is that. You can just sense it. If he gets in the groove a little bit, he's obviously a very
16.
naturally gifted player. You can see he just sort of drops down to the shot, just gets on with it. Has a good rhythm.
17.
But it's a fine line between having a good rhythm and being careless, and he has to cut out that odd mistake today. And even that might not be enough to take down the rocket. Back-to-back and reigning European under-18 champion as well, which says he pretty much dominated the junior circuit the last couple of seasons. Again, making the switch to left-handed
25.
at a crucial time in the frame tells you just all you need to know about his confidence.
$32. $33.
Certainly very fluent in amongst the balls, which will also help Ronnie's enjoyment of the match. Again, he's made those 2 bad misses, you would have to say, but still he's taken
40.
these very well. Massive occasion for him. And he's made a great start.
41.
Ronnie giving him the evil eye, having a look at him. Having a look at his technique. When you don't know a player, you haven't played him
48.
for, regardless of the start, is you're always curious to know what's he like, what's his game like,
49.
what's his cue action like.
Yeah, Ronnie just dissecting everything about Bulcsu Revesz,
56.
giving him the eyeball treatment from the chair. Of course, Ronnie O'Sullivan a huge favourite in this match.
58.
But I get the impression Bulcsu Revesz is not the sort of player you want to just keep gifting chances to. He's going to clearly keep growing in confidence. But he's quite happy to keep receiving the chances from Ronnie if they
61.
come, which they have done in this frame. The perfect start.
$65.
Apart from the occasion, playing in
70.
front of a packed crowd, playing Ronnie O'Sullivan, also can take a little bit of time to get used to the table. And this break will certainly help him do that. He won't be bothered at all about that. A lovely 70 break to give Bulcsu Revesz a surprising one-frame lead.
The second frame, Bulcsu Revesz to break.
Yeah, Ronnie just didn't have the angle to be able to pot it, as difficult as it was to come down the table. Elected to play safety. That's not the best safety shot he's ever played. Actually quite careless to leave this. Won't be too concerned about the white, just try and pot it. The slower you play those kind of shots, always more difficult. Yeah, nice pop, but wasn't low enough on the white, Ronnie. Be able to check it off. As a result, white went further down the table, wasn't able to check it and hold for the black.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 1.
But Stephen, one can only imagine the interest in the snooker community in Hungary in this match today.
Yeah, he's got the hopes of a nation resting on his shoulders, hasn't he? We had a Challenge Tour event before it became the Q Tour over in Budapest in Hungary a few seasons ago, and what I do remember from that club, it was exceptional. The conditions were superb. The tables were beautiful in there, and I got the impression that the snooker scene in Hungary as a whole was pretty healthy. Of course, at the time, Bulcsu will have been only very young. I'd never heard of him, but the last few years, as I say, he's really dominated the junior circuit. And he's earned his right to be a member of the World Snooker Tour. First ever professional snooker player from Hungary. As you say, big occasion this, huge. To qualify, he beat David Grace 5-0, which in itself is a brilliant result. Not very many players beat an experienced pro like Dave 5-0. He said in his post-match interview that he played near perfect snooker in that match. And so far it's been a good start to today.
Just overran his position there slightly. Still on this red to the middle, but a lot thinner than he would have liked.
Bulcsu Revesz 8.
Ronnie's first real scoring opportunity. Important that he leaves himself a nice angle on the black here.
Nine.
Yeah, didn't quite judge it.
16.
Just a fraction away from being that red at the bottom of the pack that came loose. Be a little bit frustrated only making 16
Ronnie, a servant,
from that
16.
opportunity.
Well, not only has he caught the pack too thin, cue ball has gone in and out of balk. He's pushed a red over the right corner pocket. Not the sort of opportunity you want to gift away to this man. He's not going to keep breaking down when he's in amongst them.
1.
Eventually something will click and he'll find his stride again.
Six. 7.
Absolutely glorious chance here for Ronnie. Ball's in ideal position. Spread out, plenty of options. Fully expecting to win the frame.
14.
That's great
15.
cue ball control, but actually doesn't really need it in this instance.
This, of course, round 2, effectively
22.
the last 64 of the Xi'an Grand Prix. The last
23.
time Ronnie O'Sullivan bowed out in this round of a ranking event was way back in 2022 in the Northern Ireland Open, where he lost 4-3 to David Grace.
30.
So off that knowledge, it's going to be a big uphill battle for Bulcsu
31.
Revesz. You look at Ronnie's campaign last year, his tally in the events that he played in, just outrageous really how well he was doing. He was pretty much deep in every single tournament he played in.
37.
Yeah, I think as he's got older, he's managed his time and his energy a lot better. Doesn't play in every
38.
tournament. Basically just plays in the tournaments that he's excited by. And as a result then, he has that little bit extra in the tank. the tournaments he effectively wants to win.
43.
But certainly the last couple of years, his appetite for major tournaments in China has greatly
44.
increased. That hasn't always been the case, but probably like most players since COVID, there's greater appreciation of how fortunate he is to have this opportunity, particularly for him, each time he's playing, and rightly so, on the main table in front of a crowd. He's never going to be able to replicate
49.
the buzz of this nights like tonight. Has other interests, of course, but he was born to play snooker.
Fifty-six. 57. 64. 65.
Taking these nicely, just still a bit of work to do if you did want to make yet another century. Not just this red, but more so even that green. Lovely little shot, lovely control.
70. 71. $76.
So it's going to have to be the
78.
double on the green. Would have maybe liked the cue ball to have run a little further.
Yeah, didn't quite have the angle for the double, but he won't be too bothered with that lovely break. He levels the match at 1-all. So Ronnie O'Sullivan, as usual, breaking off left-handed. Feels he can get more of a swing on the white to come around the angles, that kind of figure of 8. I'm not really sure why the greatest player of all time doesn't feel with his natural right hand he can't play a shot of similar caliber, but because if Ronnie had that similar shot later on in the frame, he would play it with his right hand. a very similar shot the last frame. Same result, called it a lot thinner than he wanted. Came in and out of balk. Didn't leave a pot on here. And again, there's that shot I just talked about from Ronnie. And he played it right-handed to try and swing around the angles. Again, just coming down to have a look. That red's beside the blue. I think he might be tempted to try and roll it into the left corner. And in doing so, is there an area where he could somehow leave it safe down this end? Try and maybe be low on the black. That's what he's had a look at. The fact he didn't go too close to the pot ended up helping him. Still left this red.
Foul. Bulcsu Revesz 4.
Quite unusual to see Ronnie going off.
Yeah, that is quite unfortunate, really, because how well has he hit the red to middle at that sort of pace, digging down on the cue ball from the corner of the table? That was such a good pot. But now can Bulcsu Revesz find one of his own? No. And he's hoping the blacks come to his rescue here. Ronnie may have reds available to the yellow pocket.
Played that well. Had to avoid any of the ball colours, but he's been a little bit unfortunate. This red was always potential to leave it on. It's only a fraction away from getting the cover.
1.
If you're a member of the snooker community on social media, you'll often find the odd dark stat floating around from time to time, and
6.
one that I saw today, and I have to credit David Hendon for this, that particularly blew my mind before this match. Ronnie had already won 18 of his 41 ranking titles before Revesz was born. Now, if that isn't enough to make you feel old, I don't know what is. That is incredible.
I suppose Ronnie could potentially be his grandfather.
$19. $20.
Certainly no signs of aging in Ronnie's game. Still fluent and attacking, as he always was. Tendency with players as they get older to get a little bit more cautious, a little bit slower. That hasn't been the case at all. So plays
27.
Attacking modern game.
Collector's
28.
item for you there. A heavy contact. Ronnie still uses the old chalk. Not been one to make the change. But he's still very much the the grand master of the Green Bays, isn't he, Ronnie? Still at the very top.
35. Ronnie O'Sullivan, 35.
Didn't think that red was going to drop. Seemed to stay on that lip for a couple of seconds before dropping. Watching the white to see would that drop in the pocket.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 1.
Only 1 point, but still good for Ronnie that did drop. And if Bulcsu wasn't on the red, could play to plant off it. He's very quick off some of his shots.
Yeah, he knew as soon as he'd hit that one that he caught it much too thick, and the cannon to the brown is an absolute disaster. Already 32 points to the good Ronnie as he came to the table.
Yeah, it's so much easier said than done, but just want to be giving Ronnie
7.
easy chances handed to him from basic enough shots like that.
8.
His task is big enough without that. You're just getting a sense Ronnie getting even more and more comfortable, playing very much within himself.
14.
And you feel if he gets a lead of not just a frame, but certainly 2, he could well run away with this.
15.
As he's done to many, many more experienced players than Bulcsu.
One. 22.
61 ahead,
29.
59 left. Putting that red, just
30.
make sure of this frame. Whether he puts this black or not.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 30. And the frame.
Yeah, and with that little contribution, Ronnie O'Sullivan takes the lead, 2 frames to 1.
frame 4. Bulcsu Revesz to break.
Breaking off here in this fourth frame. I'd love to win this frame. Get into the interval at 2-all. Could have probably asked for much more before the match. We've seen enough already to see glimpses of his talent and potential.
But unfortunately for Revesz, talent and potential doesn't provide ranking points. It's wins, it's victories. The W is what counts. He's going to have to produce something very, very special today if he's going to down the rocket. Well, I'm sure Revesz kept one eye on Ronnie's game yesterday against Wang Yuchen and would have probably felt a little bit optimistic in seeing the performance that Ronnie put in. As you said at the top of the show, Fergal never really got out of first gear. As that long red rattles and stays out. I suppose for Ronnie, he probably won't mind too much, will he? He'll sort of play his way into the event. The best players seem to find their best game when it matters the most.
Yeah, you just feel it. Similar to yesterday, he can play very much within himself. He's not under any great pressure at all. Can play that very well.
6.
Hitting the pink full on the face, backspin. Coming off the side cushion, opening the reds. Always a little bit fearful playing that. There's the danger that you can tie the black up. Black not on its spot, but still out in the open.
7.
And always fascinating to watch Ronnie break building, how he goes about it. Identifies the key red. Our ball tries to get on it as soon as possible. And when he has the balls at his mercy, combination of his cue ball control and concentration really come to the fore.
11.
But these will need, even for him, a little bit of working out. And he worked it out fairly well. A lovely shot.
18.
Just to judge that, almost a powerful stun.
19.
Just to open up that area. Those two reds, more or less above the black, below the pack, they're going to be key balls now. That you feel if you can get on the black, be able to disturb the pack, be able to maintain
22.
position on one or both of them.
23.
Got a lot of mileage on this cue ball so far throughout this break. Potted that green thick, which meant he couldn't get closer to this red. He's just knocked in. Now gone too far beyond the blue for middle pocket. Not in ideal position just yet. But one good shot here. Get on the red in between the pack and the loose red. He's played it perfectly. Just a quick score update across the arena. Don't forget WST.tv for all the live scores as all the matches unfold, as we watch Ronnie just dissect this little break.
29.
World number 1, Mark Allen on table 3 has made the better start against David Lilley. Mark Selby 2 against Aaron Hill on table 2. And it's a bit of a Sean Murphy show over on table 4. He's already made 2 century breaks in a 76, and in the 4th frame, looks like he's going to make another century for 3 centuries in 4 frames against
57.
Jamie Clark. There'll be plenty of head nodding over on table 4 and appreciation of the crowd, I'm sure.
Yeah, he loves a ton, Sean. Great start from. And we've seen a few shots ago. Ronnie managed to get parallel with the black, and from there could disturb the pack and still be on a red. Yeah, going back to Sean Murphy, this is better this time.
41.
3 centuries. I think his first match in China last year, he had 3 Qs.
46. 47.
Ronnie's natural tempo just coming out now. Found a bit of rhythm now. He's in amongst the balls.
54.
Just slowly starting to get that little swagger himself round the table. That almost little skip he does as
55.
he's just approaching the shot. That's when you know you're in big trouble. It's just all starting to feel very easy for Ronnie.
60.
This frame is done.
61.
Ronnie will be taking a 3-1 interval lead. Plenty for Revesz to think about. As well, it's important to, you know,
66.
try and enjoy this occasion as much as you can. Of course, as a player, you're there to win, and sometimes you can get so wrapped up in the
67.
stress of it and, you know, all the pressure that comes with it. You almost forget to enjoy it. Bulcsu, you're playing the games great in one of the biggest arenas we'll see on the World Snooker Tour this year. Just try and play the game. As easy as that.
74.
Yeah, I think even beforehand, if you knew for a fact he was going to lose 5-0, you'd still be insistent on him playing this match.
75.
So many benefits he'll get out of this. But just actually nothing else, just to watch the master up close. Watch his cue ball control, watch his shot selection. Great learning
82.
experience for him. And with that break of 82, Ronnie O'Sullivan takes a 3-1 lead.
On my watch, 38. 38 on my watch. Imperial Lounge. Yeah. Frame 5. Ronnie O'Sullivan to break.
So Ronnie O'Sullivan breaking off, leading by 3 frames to 1. Ideally, not only would he like to win this match, but also as soon as possible take the least amount of time and energy. Try and save something for later on. As for this young man, just try and continue on. Try and forget the score, just break it down. Try and win this frame. Ronnie's standard of play has certainly increased the last few frames. It's going to be harder for him to get any sort of a chance. Having an anxious look to see, does this red pass between the brown and yellow to that left corner? Just about, I think. It's not one you want to be playing with great pace.
It's one of them you want to be right behind as well, isn't it? Only sort of half a pocket, I suppose. Probably flies in if you just hit the red into the bag, but the fact he's coming at it from such an angle may not even go for it.
A nice little shot though, just leaving Ronnie one-sided. Is he tempted by this? That was
Foul.
very thin. Just shows the value of the little safety shot
Bulcsu Revesz, 4.
Bulcsu played. Just one-sided Ronnie. It's still unusual to see him going off. Got the opportunity there, obviously ball in hand from the in-off, maybe to play off the pack, play a thicker safety, a little bit conservative. Kind of felt he had the initiative in the little safety battle.
Yeah, and I think Bulcsu Revesz is probably too inexperienced to beat Ronnie O'Sullivan in a tactical exchange. I think play to his strengths when he gets in the balls, or if he gets in the balls, he looks much more of a fluent player and he looks a lot more comfortable, Bulcsu. So, and he's massively up against it already, isn't he? 3-1 down in a race to 5. Got to try and go out with a bang, I suppose. You just get the feeling that Ronnie's got his claws firmly into this match now. He's got Bulcsu Revesz bang up against the ropes. He's just going to bide his time, Ronnie. Wait for the chances to come along. And then he'll pounce.
Yeah, you feel it will take an extraordinary turnaround of events for Bulcsu to win this match. Either he plays exceptional, or Ronnie would need to badly drop his concentration. Difficult pot, certainly worth taking on. Maybe a little bit fortunate not to leave Ronnie on.
He's had a mini taste of success, Bulcsu Revesz, on the professional circuit. Played as a top-up for the UK Championship last season, 2023. Lost 6-3 to Hamid Mir, despite making his highest breakers, or in a professional event, 140. He also beat Xi'an O'Sullivan in round 1 of the World Championship qualifying, and it was quite an extraordinary comeback. 6-1 down, 8-5 down to beat him 10-8. There's obviously something there. It's just trying to bring it out when it matters most.
For the first time in a while, he's got a good scoring opportunity. Get a chance to see that fluency we've seen in the first frame.
1.
Desperate to try and get that red away from the black. Make it a really good opportunity. Yeah, we've seen his prowess with the left hand here. So, get a few steps ahead. If you could get a nice angle on the blue,
7.
drop down for that red below the black. Of course, if he's on the red nicely, you'd get on the black nicely. All dependent. Yeah,
8.
seems to have a nice angle here. Get on this red. Get on the black. He's parallel with the black. Looks a great pack to go into the
13.
disturb. They're quite loose. You feel sure if he has the right angle, you'll be able to disturb them.
Fourteen.
You can see by his reaction there, just
21.
dressed and hit the white ball just a little bit higher. He would have needed to. Pot's a bit more difficult, but also the positional play. Can he pot this and just glance off that red and drop down to the black? Lovely pot, and managed to be low on the black, so potting this, if you can just hit that bottom red above the black, medium pace, every chance open them nicely. Little delayed backspin that just clipped the red helped.
29.
Now, if the black passes this red to right corner, which Bulcsu's just looking at now, he may be able to pot this red, land himself low on the black, and have a free shot going into the reds again. He may not have the angle there to get low enough. Well, he's played a brilliant shot there to come twice across. That's a fantastically played positional shot from Bulcsu Revesz, and now he does have the chance to go into the pack again. Couldn't fail to be on this red.
Yeah. 37.
Good thinking and good execution from the previous red. And that round of applause and roar you can hear from the crowd is Sean Murphy over on table 4. Must have left the taxi meter running. He's compiled a 5-0 victory over Jamie Clark in, well, pretty much an hour of live play. He's just completed his 3rd century in that match as well. 103, 76, 100, 84, and then looks to be a total clearance in the final frame. Sean Murphy
38.
picking up where he left off from Shanghai.
Yeah, fantastic. Have to spare a thought for Jamie Clark. It's a long way to go to play an hour of snooker and only get 28 points. But yeah, Sean Murphy, after a poor season last year,
45.
was a lot more determined to put that right. Again, on song, he's beautiful to watch and also really hard to beat.
Well, just detected a heavy contact on that red to middle, and he's just lost the cue ball a touch. The red on the top cushion is a little bit of a hindrance as well. This black is quite thin now. May need to dig deep into the cue ball as well to avoid any contact to that red. Well, he couldn't avoid the contact, but he's dealt with it nicely. That's a brilliant pot from Bulcsu Revesz. Not fully aware of exactly where the balls were going to finish, but I think he'll take that.
Yeah, he's just checking there. You could see him nearly play a pretend shot. It wasn't so much could he reach, but also, even if he could reach, was he able to follow through? That's why he's just went down, got that little extension. Again, because he had that little extension, didn't try and do too much with the cue ball, just very much potted. Felt sure it'd probably be on blue or pink. Failing that, probably be yellow. We're going to find out. Yeah, you can see he can't pot the pink, but looks like a natural angle to go into the green. Can he avoid it? Obviously felt he couldn't. Just make sure the pot and leave himself from distance. Certainly doesn't lack confidence backing himself to pot this.
And he's just looking for one good positional shot here from this red. Full focus on the pot. The cue ball is going to be travelling around the back of the black, possibly back out for blue. Good strike.
61.
Well, he needs it to pull up, and he needs it to pull up fast. It's just about ran awkward. He may can clip the green thin, but getting to his next red is going to be a mission. He still needs one more red.
Brown.
Choosing against it. Pushing the brown safe, trying to lay the cue ball onto the cushion.
Bulcsu Revesz, 61.
A little bit of insurance.
slight double kiss there, Ronnie. So as a result, not only did he bring the red out, white didn't get very far down the table. Just pot this red in any colour. Every chance to get a second frame on the board. And all things considered, you have to say there's been a very impressive performance from him. So inexperienced, particularly at this level. And he certainly hasn't went into a shell.
Pink. Seven.
Not sure Ronnie will come back to the table. He gets the snooker, he probably won't.
Bulcsu Revesz, 7 and a break.
Yes, a well-played frame. Ronnie Sullivan only leads 3-2.
Frame 6. Bulcsu Revesz to break.
So this young man will be feeling good about himself, winning that frame. Reduced his arrears to 3-2. Still don't really feel it. He's going to go on and actually win the match. He's acquitted himself very well so far. Fluent, attractive player to watch around the table. And he looks comfortable out there. That's a crucial part of being a very top player in the big arena. Can you still play like you do in practice? A little bit of ragness has just crept into Ronnie's game. A little bit frustrated. Maybe had to work a little bit harder than he would have liked or wanted. So getting a little bit irritated.
I think even though Bulcsu Revesz is behind in this match, he probably won't mind that, the way things have gone. Ronnie's not really blown anyone away with his performance yesterday or today. Bulcsu has just got to try and cling on to Ronnie, because he is making mistakes, uncharacteristic mistakes. You know, it's a big day not just for the player, but for everyone else involved behind the scenes. This a huge occasion in what they're all hoping, I suppose, is a long, prosperous career for him. family members, sponsors, the club he may practice at, friends, all the people that
8,
have been behind you to get you to this point. I'm sure he's got a lot of support back home.
9,
Now he's absolutely perfect on this blue. Pink being away from the pack means he can get right into the heart of this pack here. Plenty of pace. Yeah, that's nicely done. As long as the blue doesn't cover the red to corner, which I think it may do. Is he going to be on the one past the green?
14,
Hit the pack okay. They possibly didn't split as much as I thought. He's fine. Well, he was fine, and that's a really poor shot. To not get the cue ball beyond the baulk line there.
brown,
Disappointing end to this break. Oh, and he's had a proper twitch up there. What a delicate little one. He was trying to get in behind the brown, get it
Bulcsu
tight,
Revesz
try and be
15,
too cute.
Ronnie O'Sullivan 4.
What a mistake. He giggles, but he'll be absolutely sick.
Ironic smile. Yeah, an awful pity. He's compounded the error of not being on the colour, that little shot. Obviously, he was fearful of
1,
not leaving Ronnie this red, but he didn't have to be that precise. Any sort of a little glance on the brown. And just an awful pity, just starting to get into the game. Starting to maybe think, could he level the match? Again, this game, you just can't afford to switch off for a second. It's full concentration.
That's one of them where your heart just sinks as soon as the tip makes contact with the cue ball.
8,
And you're walking back to your seat telling yourself, why have I not just hit the brown there? You don't have to get as tight as you're trying to. Just make Ronnie hit a red. Sickener.
9,
Slightly awkward bridging there, but as usual, Ronnie, perfect on the blue. I think by far the most consistent
14.
player playing that shot just up to the blue. It seems like he's nearly always in
15.
perfect position. Other players tend to be short, straight more often, not him. It makes such a big difference in break building.
I remember listening to a comment the great Steve
22.
Davis made about getting top side of the blue. He said, if you simplify it, if you don't get top side of the blue, you've got to go 6 foot in and out of baulk, 6 foot back down the table. So you're covering 12 feet for the extra roll of a ball to get the right side of the blue. And when you put it like that, it makes you think, well, why do you not just always overhit that shot? You're always guaranteed to be on a baulk colour, if not.
23,
But there you see again, that touch, that control to pretty much land it on a sixpence every time. It makes such a big difference to break building.
Yeah, I think it's the instructions you give to yourself. If you start saying to yourself, don't be short, don't be straight, it's like the brain doesn't understand the word don't. All it hears is short or straight.
28,
And again, you can also try and overcompensate. I'll definitely be on a ball colour. Whereas Ronnie just seems to know exactly where he wants the white. And
29.
he plays for it there and trusts himself to put it there. So if you said to most players to put it perfect, they would, but are they having that same clear instruction?
36,
When you're practicing as well and feeling pretty much 100% comfortable at the table, that shot is so basic to keep landing
37.
perfect. But to do that out in the arena and in the matches where there's a lot of pressure on any table in the arena, never mind table one, you've got to feel incredibly comfortable. This Ronnie O'Sullivan basically playing in his living room, isn't he? You know, this table one environment to him is just doesn't think anything of it anymore. He just plays the game. The shots just come so easy to him. The strike itself is just all there. And again, you see that shot coming across the face of the blue
45.
almost had to be inch perfect, and he is.
Yeah, when you try to be that specific, it sounds like you're making it more complicated, but you're actually making it easier because your brain has a clear instruction of exactly what you want to do. Just let you try and think about what you want to happen. course, you need that skill and touch to be able to capitalise on that thought process. That's such a key to why he's had so many centuries. More often than not, he is perfect on the black, or in this case, the blue. It makes break building so much easier.
And the best players in the world adapt
51.
very quickly to the conditions. No two tables play the same. You may think they all play the same, but the environment, the atmosphere can all play a part into how the tables and balls react. Ronnie, the best in the business at being able to detect the conditions and adapt accordingly.
Six. 57.
As soon as we talk about his excellent cue ball control going up for the blue, it's twice he's been a bit short. And just check the scoreboard there. Putting this blue. Well, that's a terrible shot.
107, 57.
Careless in so many ways. Just took a liberty, didn't need to take, trying to come off the jaw. Up off the high jaw, and as a result, that'll bring it closer. But it just puts the blue, he's 51 ahead. Yeah, he's right to be crossing himself. Very careless. And maybe if he was playing another player, it wouldn't have entered his mind, but in no circumstances was that the right shot. He got very close to the pot. That's why it stayed so close. And you can see it just looks like a slight swerve. Just to get, once he gets past the green, you feel definitely potted.
One.
Again, a little bit careless again. Just took it for granted. I should pot the red. It'll definitely be on the colour. The match score is a little bit different. Probably would have given that a little bit more care and attention.
I'm not sure what he was queuing up for there. Still needs one colour. 43 points remaining on the table. You can see 42 behind.
One.
Playing the correct shot there, trying to push a colour safe.
Foul. Ronnie of 7-4.
So the safety option from Ronnie proved fruitful. Forced the mistake, got the penalty points, and now Bulcsu Revesz requires a snooker. Again, Ronnie there opting to play the shot left-handed for absolutely no reason whatsoever. Looks like Bulcsu's going to do the same. Big target in behind that black. Oh dear, that's a bad one.
Okay.
Yeah, gave Ronnie the nod there because he knows Ronnie O'Sullivan has won that frame. Ronnie O'Sullivan leads 4 frames to 2. How's Aaron getting on?
Frame 7, Ronnie O'Sullivan to break.
Nice warm applause from the crowd there for Bulcsu coming back into the arena. They've enjoyed watching him play. He's been entertaining. And even when he has made a couple of mistakes, he just laughed them off. These kind of occasions are nearly a treat or a bonus for him, really. Not for him to stay on the tour like all young players. The hard work's going to be done in the qualifiers, winning those first and second round matches, and as many events as possible is what's really going to keep him on the tour. Certainly initially the first couple of years. You have a 2-year card. I think your first job or goal is to, after 2 years, still be on the tour. Then really start thinking about pushing up the rankings.
Yeah, and I listened to his interview he did with the media team at WST, and it was quite interesting to hear, and quite a mature approach to it, I suppose. He sort of said, you know, the first season is all about the improvement, getting used to conditions, and as you know, Fergal, that can take a lot of getting used to, can't it, these conditions? It's very, very difficult to replicate these anywhere else. The TV tables, the tournament tables, the qualifier tables even, they all seem to play very differently to what you can try and replicate on the practice table. If he can take as much from this season as possible, tee himself up nicely for the next campaign, he could do some damage.
Yeah, everything is new. As you said, everything is the first time. Just learn from it. Again, a young player, you can make a million mistakes. You just don't repeat them.
Yeah, and one of the things that stood out for me, actually, what he said is pretty much what you've just alluded to there. The fact he said that he can't really lose this season because even when he does lose, he's going to learn, and that's important. He can't be too disappointed with the losses that come because they will come. As a snooker player, it's inevitable. You're going to lose more matches than you're going to win. That's just how it is. Until you get right to the top of the game, it's about what you take from those matches.
Yeah, it's important to keep a positive attitude.
6.
There's no such thing as failure, only feedback.
7.
Perfectly played. Played a shot like this in the last frame. Played it very well. Yeah, just tried to line up perfectly. Good news, bad news.
Bulcsu Revesz 7.
Missed the
请
blue.
不要随意走动，谢谢大家。
Somehow, despite that, managed to get away with it. Shot to try and hit a red and not leave another red on.
Yeah, because he's got to be absolutely spot on in laying up to a red here. He's in big trouble.
Foul and a miss.
It was a
Ronnie
good attempt, to be
7.
fair. Very difficult. Yeah, a lovely shot there. Managed to bring the black into play. Made it look easy, that shot, but again, he'll be not quite anxious, but certainly keen to just get this frame and match one. We've seen the last frame or two just getting a little bit careless, losing a little bit of intensity he had at the start. I expect him here now to be fully focused. Could well be 5 or 6 minutes away from putting this match to bed. Yeah, unusual to see the spider being used with the extension on it, and obviously Ronnie with the extension on his cue. One of the very few players, Ronnie, that doesn't have the extension able to screw into the butt of the cue.
8.
This is the old school push on.
9.
Still remember the old half butts. They weren't much fun.
But what a glorious chance this now for the Rocket to sign and seal this match at this visit.
16.
He's got the balls at his mercy now. Black available into both corner pockets. When he came to the table,
17.
it didn't even look half a chance, and all of a sudden, 3 shots in, he's absolutely plumb. It'd be good for Revesz to
24.
watch this game back, just see a couple of moments throughout the game that he could potentially improve on. A few shot selections, a few shot
25.
executions. It's all a learning curve, as we keep mentioning. But it was going to always take something very special to beat Ronnie O'Sullivan in a major ranking event. It's very, very rare that Ronnie loses early on. It's been nearly 2 years
31.
since he was defeated in this round. Pretty much nailed on to go deep in
32.
events these days, picks and chooses. Absolutely loves playing in China as well, does Ronnie. Always treated so well, and rightly so.
39. 40. $47.
Yeah, he's just checking to see if he's touching ball with that red beside. If he is, he wouldn't be able to put the red to the left corner. It's been a very comfortable passage for Ronnie both days. First played two young, inexperienced opponents. Next round, we'll be playing Xi'an with a great win today against Neil Robertson.
53.
Neil Robertson's struggles continue. Would have been looking for a deep run in this
54.
tournament. Wasn't to be. So we'd expect Ronnie to have a sterner test tomorrow. Very good chance he's going to play
57.
tomorrow night as well, and that's an advantage, particularly in China. If you're playing at the same time, you can get into a bit of a routine, a pattern.
58.
Ideally, your sleeping pattern more than anything. You have to give credit to that young man there.
65.
It's a bit of a good performance. Still very young, very raw. But it's Ronnie O'Sullivan with that 5-2 win
65 and the match.
that goes through. Warm reception from the crowd, and it's Ronnie O'Sullivan into the
请大
last
家保
32.
持安静，旁边的比赛还在进行，谢谢大家。
Yeah, I think the referee just getting the crowd to calm down slightly. There's obviously other tables in play. We've seen two good matches today. Firstly, we've seen Graham Dott with a great win. Good to see him back in form. And then Ronnie O'Sullivan. Professional performance, you would have to say, to get the win. To the next round. A lot of big hitters still in the tournament. As we reach midweek,